Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be attempting to recreate one of my favorite places to go when I was a kid. And that place, if you couldn't already tell by the title, is called Discovery Zone. So for those of you who weren't a kid in the 90s like I was, or who aren't from the United States like I am, you probably haven't heard of Discovery Zone because unfortunately it went out of business in 1989. But if you are a kid from the 90s who lived in the United States, you probably at least remember hearing about Discovery Zone, even if you never actually got to go. So basically, Discovery Zone was a giant indoor playground. And they had like tubes you could crawl through and like kind of like a maze type of setup. And they had a ball pit, and they also had a giant rolly slide thing with like all these different things that you would roll down and then your fingers would get caught on it, and it was kind of terrible, but it was a lot of fun. So anyways, think of it as like a McDonald's I can't say that word. A playground on steroids, because these places were like huge, and they a lot of times were like at least the one by where I lived was like a double-story thing, and so it got really echoey in there and loud, and as a kid it was amazing, but as a parent, like, I don't know how my mom put up with us going to this place, which we didn't do very often, but I can't even imagine. I think it would have been too frequent if it was me. But in any case, so after getting the toddler stuff pack that came out earlier this week, I saw what the toddler playground stuff looked like, and I was like, oh my god, I have to build Discovery Zone. That's it. That's the end. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So that's what I did. So Discovery Zones also had like a separate toddler playground for like littler kids. By the time the one by us opened up, I was unfortunately too old and too tall to be able to play there. But I know my younger sister definitely did. I'm not sure about my brother. He might have been too old at that point too. But, so that way then the littler kids had a place to go and play and hang out, and they wouldn't get overrun by the big kids, because let me tell you, speaking as somebody who used to play in the big kid playground at Discovery Zone, it was intense. I mean, like, yeah, it was really intense there. I don't know why, but for some reason, just that sort of like little dose of freedom that you would get, because the tunnels were so high up in the air that a lot of times your parents wouldn't be able to see you or contact you. Like, you know, when it was time to go home, they couldn't really reach you so easily. So it sort of turned kids into like crazy maniac people, like, but you know, I mean, kids are kids. They need to burn off their energy, and Discovery Zone was a great place to do so. Especially, like, I don't ever really remember going in like summertime, because during summertime you could just play on a regular playground. And you know, obviously Discovery Zone charged money for you to be able to get in and play. So you know, unless it was like raining outside, or if it was like cold and snowy during winter, we tended to not go. Or really, mostly I went because people who I went to school with who had more money than we did growing up would have their birthday parties there. And I mean, they were some pretty awesome birthday parties. So anyways, so they also had a lot of like natural light, which is why I've decided to make like giant windows all over the place on my version of Discovery Zone. And then I also used the dance floor from the Get Together expansion pack to sort of make skylights, which I know that that's been done like a million times before, but I thought it would work really well here, because then it sort of gives you the illusion that you're like outside because the sun's coming in. And I know we don't have weather in the game yet, but someday I have a hunch that we will. And when that day comes, you will want a place like Discovery Zone for your sim children to go play. So yeah, so I made like this glassed off enclosed room. This is like the teen hangout room, so that way then if you have in your family like a teenager or even parents who just don't want to watch their kids play, they can go in there and it's quiet and it's soundproofed from the rest of the place, because yeah, it would be really noisy, and like as a teenager you don't want to go playing on the tubes and the tunnels and slides and the ball pit. Ugh, the ball pit, yeah. So, like so many other people, I am also a little disappointed with how this ball pit thing turned out from this expansion pack. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically in this toddler stuff pack, and you'll see it here, so there's like this giant jungle gym thing with like tunnels and tubes and slide, and then there's a ball pit, which from a distance actually doesn't look too bad here, but when you get up close to it, the texture on the ball pit is like flat. Like it's completely flat, except for a couple of balls sticking up. And what's worse is that the ball image is like blurry looking, and like when the toddlers are playing in it, it sort of has like this weird ripply effect. It almost looks like it's water instead of balls. But I sort of hope that they either fix it, because I know like at one point they did like a graphics update to, I think it was like the cereal or something, because the cereal in the original base game before it was patched was also like blurry and gross looking. So I have high hopes. I mean, I know that it will never be like a textured thing, like that would be way too many polys, and I get it, like they're looking at performance here, and to have that many round objects on one item I think would kill a lot of people's computers, mine included. But I mean, if they could just even make it a sharper image, it's just embarrassing. Like what were they thinking? So in the meantime, I'm hoping that they will fix it in a patch at some point and upgrade the graphics, because I figure if they've done it with cereal, they can do it with the ball pit. So anyways, so I tried to make this place like as crazy colorful as possible. So there's like this like rainbow pattern in the carpeting. The fences are in rainbow as well, so you can see the left side is like the toddler playground area, so I used the fence from the toddler stuff pack that we just got, and then on the other side is like the kid playground area, so I used a fence that was a little bit higher up because, you know, kids are taller. It makes sense to me. And I was really impressed with myself because I was able to get both of the playgrounds for children to fit on that little area. I don't know how, and it works because I tested it out, so awesome. Yeah. Oh, and I made the carpet underneath the pirate ship blue, like the ocean, and then I made the carpet on the other side underneath the spaceship like pinkish grayish, because it's like alien looking. I don't know, I thought it looked alien like. I really have no idea. But yeah, so I tried to make this place like just as colorful and kid-friendly. I mean, like, yeah, I can't imagine having teenagers come here on their own, but like, you know, if they've got younger siblings, mom and dad want to have like, you know, a day of like family bonding or whatever, like this is the place to go. So I also put in a toddler bathroom with like little toddler potties, because, you know, toddlers can't use the regular potties. And then I also put in on the other side regular bathrooms that can be either accessed through the kid playground area or through like the snack bar cafeteria area. So, yeah. Also, if you're listening to the background music that's going on, this is actually a song that I made myself. So, I was having a really hard time finding enough background music, because I feel like I've picked a lot of like my favorite songs already, because like, so I have to use copyright-free music, because otherwise, like, YouTube gets all grumpy about it. So, and I get that. It's, you know, I understand. So, but if you make it yourself, I own the copyright to this by default. So that's what I did. I made this music myself. So, if you like it, let me know. If you hate it, please don't tell me. So, yeah, so now I'm doing the toddler bathroom. So I didn't do like closed off stalls for the toddlers, because I figured it would be more realistic. I mean, for one thing, like, they're there with a parent. Like, they wouldn't be going into the toddler bathroom by themselves. I mean, I know technically they can't, but in my mind, you should always go with your toddler to a bathroom in a public place. Like, that's just common sense, people. So, yeah, it wasn't really necessary to have, like, closed-off stalls. So, and then this side is obviously for, like, children on up. So, obviously I made closed-off stalls because, ew, otherwise that's just gross. Yeah, so let's see what else. Oh, yeah, so going back to weather. So the idea is that, you know, in real life, Discovery Zone was a good place to go when the weather outside was bad and your kids had a bunch of energy. Like, I remember once my mom took myself and my brother and my sister to Discovery Zone over Christmas vacation because I think we were driving her crazy. And just so we could, like, run around and burn off some energy and, you know, do all that sort of stuff. And then I think by the end of that trip to Discovery Zone, my mom said that she would never take us again. and I'm pretty sure that with the exception of, like, going to birthday parties, I think that actually held up. Because, like, I think all three of us had, like, cried at some point for various reasons, or, like, I'm sure I probably caused an argument, or, you know, I think a lot of times, like, my move, so when I was a little kid, I did not like to leave places. Like, my relatives would actually wait to leave family get-togethers until after my family left, because they wanted to see how I would react when my parents would say, "Christine, it's time to go home now." Because I would throw, like, the biggest temper tantrums and fits. Like, it was bad. So I'm pretty sure that that's probably the same reaction that I had when my mom said it was time to leave Discovery Zone. And then, I don't know, I think, because my little sister is 5 years younger than me, so I have a feeling that she was, like, wanting to go into the big kid playground with my brother and I, and, you know, my mom was probably like, "Oh, watch your sister," and I was like, "Okay," and then as soon as we went into the tunnels, we ditched her, because she couldn't keep up, I'm sure. So, in any case, my thought is that in The Sims, so I know that there's been a lot of, like, speculation recently about weather and seasons, and, like, it has just been a crazy week here with, like, cats and dogs and the toddler stuff, and, like, and the patch notes had, like, some really subtle weather-related hints, which, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I generally don't really like how the Sims team has been doing patch notes. I find it hard to read with all the weird little funny jokes and stuff, and I feel like it just makes them look longer than they actually are to make it seem like there's more in them than there actually is. So, not super thrilled with that, but I did read them, and yeah, it definitely starts off with, like, a conversation about weather or something. And, yeah, I mean, we had seasons in The Sims 2 and in The Sims 3. So this is what I think is going to end up happening, because there's been a lot of people who want a weather update to the game in a free patch. I don't think they'll do that. I think, if anything, we could get rain in a patch, like just rain, without any sort of, like, seasons attached to it. I could see them doing that, only because, like, that seems pretty basic. But what I think is going to end up happening is that my guess, and again, I have no idea, I'm just speculating here, but my guess is that because we only are getting one expansion pack a year, and that's been the case now for several years in a row, I don't think they're going to do seasons in an expansion pack this time around. I think it's going to be a game pack. And I say this because in The Sims 3, the seasons expansion pack was also tied in with festivals, which we already got festivals in the City Living expansion pack. So, and I don't see them expanding festivals. So I see one of two things possibly happening here. I could see us maybe getting rain in a patch, and then the rest of the season stuff like snow and the leaves changing and falling on the ground, and I could see that being a game pack. Or the alternative is I could see them not doing a separate seasons expansion pack, but because the expansion packs are supposed to be like broad in scope and the game packs are more narrow, I could see them doing a seasons expansion pack with farming, because so much of farming has to do with weather. Like, you know, you plant in the spring, you tend to your crops in the summer, and then you harvest in the fall. And then winter, everything is dormant. Or you, I don't know, have a greenhouse or something. But, so that's my guess. And I think that if we do get a farming expansion pack, because I know it's something that a lot of people have been asking for several years. We've never really had, like, good farming. I know there were a couple of, like, sets from the Sims 3 store that had, like, weird cows and, like, that chicken coop thing, and I had them, and I liked playing with them. But it wasn't, like, real farming. So my guess is that then I could see us getting horses in that pack, because that's much more of like a farm animal. So I could, and I don't know, that might be a bit of a stretch, but this is my guess. Or we just get rain in a free patch and then seasons in a game pack instead of in an expansion pack. But yeah, I mean, I have a feeling we'll get them at some point just because we've gotten them before. I mean, I will say I'm not exactly thrilled with the fact that we only are getting one expansion pack a year right now. Like, I get it. You know, it takes time to make the games. And I think by doing the community stuff pack, I mean, that started back in April, and it's not going to be released until sometime in 2018. So it could easily be like a year on a stuff pack, which is like the smallest of the 3 packs that we can get. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I've been really actually pretty impressed with the stuff packs in The Sims 4 in general. I mean, besides the hideous ball pit texture, I love the Create a Sim items for the toddlers in this pack. So, like, I get it. I get that it takes a lot of time, but, like, I'm so thirsty for more content, guys. Like, we need more. So, anyways, that's just some of my general, like, thoughts and musings. So, yeah, I decided that, because I wanted to try to use as many things from the toddler stuff pack as possible. I know I didn't get to everything, but I thought that putting the little sun sail thing over the gate for the toddler area was nice, because, like, in my mind, it's like you go into the desk, or you go into the building and you check in at the reception desk, and in reality, you would pay a lot of money because Discovery Zone was not cheap. And then I could see the lady at the desk, or the guy at the desk, being like, okay, so, you know, head on down to the sun sail, and that's where you go in, you know, like that's an easy marker for a toddler. So that was my thought. Plus, I just thought it looked nice. And with the skylights, there's a lot of light coming in, like sunlight coming in from the top. So, you know, I thought that would be appropriate. So yeah, so here this is like the little check-in counter thing where in reality you would be paying a lot of money. And then I used the shoe racks from the bowling stuff pack to make little shoe cubbies, like, because at the real Discovery Zone, that was the big thing. You weren't allowed to wear your shoes. You couldn't wear them in the tunnels, you couldn't wear them in the ball pits. You could wear them in, like, the cafeteria area, but before you went back in to play some more, you had to have your shoes off and in a little cubby, or, like, with your parent. So I was like, oh, that's so perfect. So I think that's, like, the only thing from the bowling pack. I didn't really try to restrict myself on the packs that I used for this. I know that obviously there's a lot of toddler stuff. Probably a good amount of stuff from Kids Room and the Parenthood game pack. I'm trying to think what else and obviously Get Together, because that's where the skylights came from. And I put in a food stall from City Living. So yeah, I think I used something from a lot of the packs. So sorry, I didn't really try to, like, restrain myself. I just wanted to find things that, like, fit the theme or fit the need. But yeah, so I put in, instead of doing like a restaurant or something, because this is technically classified as a park. So instead of doing like a restaurant, where then people would be focused more on eating. I just put in one of the food stalls. I think it's called like the American food stall. It's the one that has like hamburgers and hot dogs. The bummer is that if you have a food stall on a park lot, for some reason you still have to pay $100 for somebody to come in and manage it. And that comes out of like your Sims family funds, which like I get, like, you know, the person would probably want to be paid for their work, but why should I have to pay? Like, I'm just a visitor to this park. I don't own this place. But there is a mod by Cinderella Mouse that you still have to, it still says like pay, but she changed it to be a $0 amount. So if I remember, I'll link that mod in the description box for this video, because, you know, for the sake of reality, like that would be helpful, especially like $100 for somebody to come sell me a hamburger. Like that's, I'm already paying for the hamburger. Like that just seems kind of ridiculous. Oh, right. I guess I did use stuff from Dine Out, because those signs are all from Dine Out too. Yeah, sorry. I did. I definitely went a little overboard, but I think it looks really good. I mean, like, I'm pleased with how this turned out, so it's all good. Oh yeah, and I put in, I wasn't sure if this was gonna work or not, but I put in the, what is it, the ice, lice, freezer, whatever, from the Get to Work expansion pack, where like, you can stock it with food, I think. I don't know. I might have put in the wrong thing. In all honesty, you could probably just delete it, but I put it in there in case, like, you know, you wanted something other than a hamburger or a hot dog. But now that I'm saying this, I'm not sure what food they actually sell there, so there's that. Also, your toddler can't buy food at that food stand, which, you know, that's realistic, I suppose. Typically, you don't want toddlers just wandering around and buying hamburgers. But there is also that, I put in the cooler that came from the kids, or I'm sorry, not the kids, the toddler stuff pack, so you can use that as well for them, for like drinks and stuff. I put that in the toddler playground area. So also, because this is a park, which I totally forgot about it, you had to have a set of monkey bars, which of course I didn't realize that until after I had built the children's section, and there was like no way possible for it to fit in there. So I built a basement and just stuck the monkey bars in the basement, so you can't see them. But yeah, also I put a whole bunch of the Void Critter stickers on the windows because I thought that would be cute. And so yeah, so there's the little stand with somebody actually working there. Yeah, so this is it. I am so pleased with how this turned out. Like, it's so colorful and fun, and I think it'll be a really great place to take like any of your Sims. So if you like it, you can download it from the Sims 4 gallery. The link will be in the description box. Or you can find it using my origin ID, which is Mrs. Tomato 1018. Yeah, let me know if you guys liked this video, or if you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see from me in the future. I am open to any and all suggestions. So yeah, oh my god, this is so cute. I love that little slide. Like, that, oh, takes me back. And the animations here with the imagination stuff, so good. And there's the ball pit. Boo. I mean, like, you tried, right? You tried a little bit. Maybe just a tiny little bit, guys, but oh well. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.